Genuine ostrich. 3 payments. Wait, what? I'm just goofing. New boot goofing.
New boot Goofin. It's shaboy. It's shaboy. Goofy Boots. Alright. Here we are. Here we are. Oh. 07, I got my CDL by driving the short bus. Let's go to the ice cream factory, Philip. Nice. Big B, speaking of which, look what I managed to pull up. This is live. We're doing it live. Fuck it. We're doing it live. This is the other half to this piece right here. It's going to dovetail into that. And it's the other half of the top. It goes in and it covers this in real time. All right, here we are, Mad Cow in the morning. All right. I'm sorry. I had to stop myself. Jesus Christ. All right, Mad Cow in the morning. Anyway, so I got custom pegs I got to work with here. Yay. And then I got something to tell you here, Big B. You're gonna love this one. So last week when I wasn't streaming, I was dealing with shit. This right here, this latch. There's 2 of them. I can't tell you the fucking headache. Like, I know it's just a latch. I can't even fucking begin. Like, unless I was streaming it all last week, which I wasn't. But this right here, like, I wanted to fucking... I almost wanted to refund your fucking money. Like, I was, like, about to give the fuck up. This fucking latch. I can't even tell you the fucking story. It's successful though. I made it. I mean, we're gonna see once I assemble it. But I can't. Yeah, Big V knows. All right, yeah. So you know, yeah. It's either you do it with a jig, or you're gonna custom fit it, motherfucker. And so guess what I'm doing? Anyway, man, let's listen. Let's pop on over. We're gonna turn off this live stream. Yeah, I probably shouldn't be streaming this too much. The thing that's streaming this to my computer is a little tablet. It's got an ARM 7 on it, so this is about as good frame quality as you're gonna get. So we're gonna turn that off. We're gonna listen to some Shack Attack, start off the day. Make sure my audio is on. Make sure I wasn't talking to the void. Yeah, you guys are hearing me. Alright. Goon Platoon Assemble. No big... I know you're joking. That's funny. Hey, just fucking rub some fucking dirt on it, man. It'll be fine. Thanks for understanding. Really though, Big B, thanks for understanding the idea that this is kind of prototyping, and I'm just kind of figuring it out as I go. Thank you, man. You're the biggest supporter here. Cheers. Cheers to Big B. All right. Oh, and I'm getting ready to paint this while that's working. Oh, this isn't Shack Attack? No, this is On the Line. No, I wanted Shack Attack. There we go. Sorry about that. I'm professional. Professional here. This is also why I... oh yeah, Big B. No, this is also why I'm limiting myself right now to just 2 projects. Because if I had a third one going right now, which I have a third one lined up, but if I had a third one going right now, I probably wouldn't be streaming. I'd probably just be focusing on just getting it done. But I like streaming. So here we are. What up, Renee? Renee, drops keep falling on my head.
Flying through the night, floating on the way to the city light, like birds with the love they bring. Slowly they descend through the darkened sky to the night again.
No, not that one. Royce actually canceled that one. Prick. Just joking. Starting the day off right here. I mean, you really can't go wrong with a little bit of Shack Attack, huh? Nightbirds, ever since Pessy first showed it to me, I was like, oh, why didn't I not hear this before? This is beautiful. Listen to that. Everybody gets their time, yeah? It's the guitar, now it's the piano's turn. Let's go. Jesus, my nails are getting long. Ew. Gross.
Flying through the night.
Yeah, familiar actually. What I have up lined up is I don't think I have any Dark 5 actually. Oh, that was the end of that one. Okay. All right. Emily the Engineer is what I got lined up next. So she does great 3D printing work. She's an engineer. And so is her co-host, and they do great shit. And they will forever have a spot in my watch later algorithm. Emily the Engineer is great. She's butt ugly, but she's great. She's great.
Wii Sports, the most simple yet entertaining game that I put my entire heart and soul into. In 2006, Nintendo released the Wii, and then along with the console, they released Wii Sports, a game that came bundled with the Wii itself. In the game, you could play sports like baseball, tennis, golf, but 8-year-old me in particular was obsessed with Wii bowling. Just look at it, the graphics, the realism, the total immersion. I was on cloud 9. I'd spent
So a lot of I surprised Pessy the other day. Oh, thank you, Renee. She's hardest working fucking mod ever. Renee's awesome. So I surprised Pessy a while back when I told him that I used to be a competitive bowling. I was a bowler, not just any kind of bowler either. I won state championship in my league, and I went to nationals. I got my butt handed to me at nationals in Las Vegas, but I did win so I was state champion of California for my league at bowling, and and also the reason that I was because. My father's an Olympic bowling coach, and so he was trying to like explain to me, hey, Goofy, bowling is like really expensive. I was like, yeah, because he didn't know. I didn't tell him beforehand, but I was like, oh yeah, no shit. And then I had to tell him like, yeah, man, I know all about bowling. Don't worry about it. He was like, really? And I had to like, yeah, man, I got like a whole bunch of shit. Like, actually, you know what? Right here, right now, I'll grab, okay, I'm gonna grab this tape and I'll grab my shirt. Here, we'll watch this while I go grab it. We'll go back to Emily the engineer in a minute. Rolling over shit. Put tape. Let me tape up my it's my bowling shirt that has all the patches on it. Familiar. That actually helps. Yeah. That is performance enhancing. You're no longer allowed to do it. They test for that now. So this shirt, when I was just starting out, my dad had just gotten his coaching, bowling coaching. This is my first 150 game. This is the YABA. Well, you can't see it because it's chroma keyed out. It's green. I beat my coach, YABA, the league. My 250 series. My first 100 game. Yeah, and then on the back, Camp Pendleton was where I was bowling out of. My first 75 game. And the YABA 100 game. This was the shirt that I won, that I wore and won my state championship in. Hartwell Sports shirt. Yeah. That was the start. That was the start of my career. But yeah. That was very fun. I remember my first 200 game. I think I was 8 or somewhere along those lines. Oh, Alice, I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that, dude. It really is expensive. Pessy was trying to explain to me how expensive it was. My dad was just being a coach, so I managed to get all of the, the benefits from it, and I didn't have to pay for it. So just understand that bowling balls, the ball bags, they're so fucking expensive. Oh my God. Anyway. Oh, and that's where I was born too. I was born in Camp Pendleton.
Countless hours ranking up until
ended up working there, but
I was considered a real pro. I had beaten epic bosses like my little brother and Matt. Then one tragic day, I decided to remake my me. The little avatars that you made of yourself in the games. Just because it was fun to make them. And you can't convince me that you never tried to make them.
I had Wii Sports, and I was so good at it that I hated playing bowling because it wasn't realistic. You know what I mean? So I would end up getting like perfect games and I was just bored. I was fucking bored.
Most ungodly, ugly looking me you've ever seen. Everyone's done it. But something that I did not know was that your game rank was saved to your me. Meaning that when I went back to go play some more Wii bowling, all of my progress had been deleted. And now, 18 years later, I still lose sleep to this day. Now, I don't have the energy to go back and reclaim my rank, but what if I could just kind of get back? And the fastest way for me to do that would to just be getting perfect games over and over again.
I had perfect bowling privilege.
Now, a perfect game is pretty hard to get. It's possible, it's difficult though. But what if there was a way to get a perfect game every single time? And then I remembered my engineering degree, which was in front of my Wii. I then looked around for a mannequin because, if you're playing video games with a robot, we want it to look as human as possible. And apparently Dan just kind of, had one sitting in the back of his car. What'd you do to his feet?
Don't worry about it.
Where's his head?
You're asking a lot of questions.
So this way, we've got the proper mechanics of a human arm.
Did you know that these are actually pretty expensive?
Why did you cut his feet off then?
Do you want the mannequin or not?
Are we gonna get copyright?
No, we just have to add in the...
Bro, come on, you don't know the strap?
Ooh.
Thought you were better than that. Then just let it go.
Bro.
This guy knows yep.
Can't you just do the same thing?
This guy's good. That guy's good. That guy knows the fight. As soon as I saw him do it. Hold on. Watch it.
Then just let it go.
And it's
Bro.
Yep.
Can't you just do the same thing every
Boom.
time?
High five on that guy.
A second bowling ball has hit the pin.
I used to be better at this.
Is this on purpose?
Nope. She did it all wrong.
I don't don't think this is right. As an engineer, I can't work, but also as an engineer, you want your inventions to be very human. So we're gonna just take this mannequin's arm and make him swing the Wii remote. So I've got this Lazy Susan bearing, and I'm gonna just basically mount it to his arm.
Are you doing this in a
It's
trash can because you
complicated.
refuse to clean your work surface?
I have other priorities. Really though, whose workbench is clean, right? Like if your workbench is clean, then are you actually ever doing
Ooh,
anything? All those
225.
people with like the
Holy shit.
nice, clean
Nice.
like setups for their videos, I don't trust them. I don't trust them one bit.
If you look at NASA, they're all like wearing clean clothes and everything's clean.
Look what I'm wearing. Does this look like NASA to you?
No, that looks like t-shirts that are available on emilytheengineer.shop.
my god!
I have never had a 300 game. I will
That
admit
also
that
looks
though.
political. So now that the hard part is done, all
Never
we
had
have
a
to do
300
is
game.
create a
Came close.
servo-controlled Wii remote holder that presses the buttons at the specific times that the buttons need to be pressed at to release the bowling ball in the game. Oh look! Is this a servo-controlled
On
Wii
Wii-
remote
on the
holder?
Wii
When I
Sports?
press the button, the top servo is going to go down, hit A to go to
we'll
the next turn.
I just
and then
heard
it
what she
will-
was saying. But on Wii Sports, I 300 games all the time. Real life, holy shit! I think I got the closest. I always messed up at the end. It was 296 or something to that effect. It was not 300. I got real close. But I didn't get a 299 though. That's when you get like just a fucking one pin, people just go, "Oh, well, I mean, that's yeah, like 296 you're like, "Ooh, you're so fucking close, dude."
Hold down B for 3 seconds and release. But apparently the
It's not
Wii
a 300
remote
though.
sensor on the front can't be covered, which is crazy, right? First, I made sure we had
Couple
gotten
of
the
times
timing
I
right with
had-
the servos by not pressing any buttons and just swinging my arm.
280.
And let go. It was a little finicky, so we moved
Yeah,
over to the
adrenaline
mannequin to
was
where
pumping,
each swing
yeah.
was going to be exactly identical every single time, and tried it that way.
I had
Now we're gonna
everybody.
try it just
Oh my
kind of
god.
holding it up.
Everybody at the fucking bowling alley. It's the pressure fucking built. It was built. Cause once you hit 200, people start recognizing it. Everybody else starts, oh wow, 200, wow, okay, cool, oh shit. When you start getting to like 250, and you're reaching up there in your frames, oh shit. You start to hear everybody telling everybody, hey, shut the fuck, hey, this guy's going for 300, hey, dude, yo, hey, this guy's going for 300, dude, shut the fuck up, dude. Yo.
And then letting it go at the appropriate
Just play it
time.
backwards. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, a start. We can go one of two routes here, where we have something that lets it go and lets it rock back and forth, or we
think
just
the last
straight
time
up stick
high
a
school-
servo
wow.
in that. I mean, that's dead on. We
Yeah,
need
that's
a
about
little
the
bit
last time I
Isn't this
bowled,
just like average Wii
professionally
Sports
was
gameplay? I feel like I could beat this thing.
Middle school.
I mean, like, right now, we just haven't made it repeatable yet.
Yeah, but there has to be some randomness built into the game itself, so I don't really know how repeatable you can make it.
So to stick it to Dan, I decided to host an event where others could come try to beat the Wii robot. Now, was it built yet? No. Was I now about to give myself a deadline that I had to perfect it by? Maybe. But if I succeed, I prove Dan wrong. So I would make a website to invite people to the event, share it with all my friends, and get them to
Yo,
share it
look
with
at
their
that
friends.
rig.
Only
Did you see? Oh shit. Oh shit. God damn. She got those this fucking Corsair LED. Are those the ones that connect together and there's no wires? Are those fans that connect together and they just have no wire? They have the wires built into them. It's Corsair, right? I'm pretty sure. Or is it Leanne Lee? I don't know. Hey, look, it's Elmo, Flaming Elmo in chat. There's Buzz Lightyear. Whoa. Oh, yeah, look at that. Oh, you got one of those stupid LCD screens on the fucking... Yeah, so... That's really neat and cool. I like the triple monitor setup here. That's one specific for chat. That's portrait mode. I tried that one time. It didn't quite work that well when I first started streaming. I only have 2 monitors. I need to get a third one. No, familiar. It's only for like streaming, really. If I can have a screen where it's just you guys, one screen, portrait mode, chat, hell yeah. Fucking hell yeah. I could just devote an entire screen to just you guys. Cool. Unfortunately, you guys are windowed. 'Cause fuck you. Alright. Let's watch the fucking show.
The event, share it with all my friends, and get them to share it with their friends. Only problem is I don't know how to code a website. And I needed something easy enough for an infant to use. So I did go, since the ad segue, that was smooth, wasn't it?
So I used Hostinger to build a website from the ground up, who also just so happens to be the sponsor of today's video.
With Hostinger, I added the name of the website and got to choose a free domain that was included with my plan. They're one of
I'll
the
let
most
her play.
cost-effective build.
I'm gonna let her play her advertisement because she's funny. You know the rule around here. I only play your ad roll or your ad read if you're funny. She's funny.
builders out there for sure with affordable prices
She
and a
better
bunch
be
of tools
funny.
to make website building
Oh,
easy.
shit,
I was
if
able
she's
to
not
use their
funny.
AI website builder to simply describe what I wanted my website to be, and it honestly delivered crazy good results without me having to lift a finger. The website looked way more legitimate than if I were to design it from scratch, and it allowed me to adjust and tweak whatever I wanted after. I was able to add my own pictures or pictures from their photo library, or if you
What was
prefer,
her own
you can
pictures?
use their built-in image generator. So if you need a website made quick and easy, be sure to take your ideas to Hostinger. You can head to hostinger.com/Emily and can use discount code Emily for an extra 10% off. So thank you to Hostinger for sponsoring this video. Now back to the project I just locked myself into finishing.
How much of an arc do we actually
No,
need
she
to
wasn't
have?
that funny. Oh well.
We can just kind of go. We're gonna do that. We added a motor to swing the Wii remote, and so now it should hit the A button and then hold down B, swing it, and release.
And from here, we went through a couple iterations with the servo mounted in different positions along the remote. We did this until we finally landed on a version with 2 posts holding the remote and swinging it
It
forward.
really is,
The
for the
problem is,
Wii,
though, we needed a little
You
bit more
just need to
speed.
go
This thing was
straight,
going
and
way
you need
too
to
slow.
go.
It's just literally, it's perfect.
You
It
need
just
to hit the
needs
pocket.
a little bit more
You need to hit the
oomph to
one
it,
free
you know?
pocket,
At this point, we
and
didn't
then
know what
that's
to do.
it.
We were at a stalemate.
You don't
okay, so
have
I
to
turned
do
to the
a
internet
curve.
to see if anyone had tried doing this before, and lo and behold, I just can't be original, I guess, because this guy did it 17 years ago with Legos. Will Gorman created the WeGoBot that gets a perfect score every single time, and I can't do it with a bunch of 3D printers and other things that weren't popular 17 years ago. Legos! Our second design does look like what Will had, so we have to be on the right track. And from there, we just kept changing a bunch of gear ratios until we got it somewhere near right. And when I say we spent a lot of time playing Wii Bowling, I mean we spent
Sorry.
We tweaked the code over and over and over again, changing things like the timing of the buttons, the type of swing,
All right, let's
everything.
stop fucking
and
around.
every
I'm
now
gonna
and
start
again, it would pay
painting.
off, but it just wasn't consistent.
You see the dark circles under my eyes? I don't think you do. Zoom in. Actually, don't. And not only that, remember the original goal of this video to get my pro rank back as fast as I possibly could? Well, turns out when you make a robot that Wii bowls and you have to test it over and over again in Wii bowling, you get that rank back pretty fast. So now my new goal is to just beat everyone. Beat everyone, and obviously get a perfect game, because if I don't do that, then what's the freaking point?
I was starting to get a little nervous, okay? All my friends would be over to compete against this thing soon, and it wasn't even working yet. Yet, I knew it was possible because Will Gorman did it in a cave with a box of scraps. But after some research, I realized people weren't just aiming straight. They move over to the side in the game before they bowl.
Oh, come on, you don't know the strap?
And upon further inspection of the crisp 17-year-old footage from Will Gorman, he did it too. So we added a third servo to the D-pad on the Wii Remote, printed up some better gears, and once again spent like 10 years dialing in the timing with the buttons, so I'll spare you the suffering that we went through for now. But after a while, it started to look pretty promising. Now that I pick up the camera, it's not gonna work. Wait. Okay. Alright. Oh my gosh, please! No, please, no. This game we had gotten a whopping 10 strikes and then proceeded to fail on the last turn, but it's fine, because we had finally succeeded in making it reasonably consistent. However, when we finally went for the perfect game, it decided to want to get maybe 10 strikes in a row and then maybe throw a fluke on the 11th turn, so we spent forever running it over and over and over again until there seemed to be some hope. In fact, when I had to go off and join a brief meeting, Dan decided to try to get the perfect score himself.
I got 8 in a row!
I know you just didn't do really well while he called. I know you did. I know you didn't just do that when I was over there. I literally walked out of the room for 5 minutes.
I pressed the button 10 times.
If you had actually made it, I would have been genuinely upset. We can do it. We can do it.
We can do it!
Okay. We're past 8. We're past 8. Not dead yet. Please.
2.
Please.
2. Just
The
2.
music.
Please.
1. That's all. You just need one more.
Please. 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 Today's the day. I have successfully gathered all of my friends in one place to try out the bowl bot.
There are 4 of us here, and one of them is your husband.
Listen. Okay, we gotta make a new name for our robot.
Overall, the Bowlbot,
All of
Robot, whatever
my
you want to call him,
friends.
did pretty well. Now, is it absolutely perfect? Not necessarily. But, I mean, when you're getting 11 strikes per game, it's going to be nearly impossible to beat, unless you're this guy, I guess.
You can do it. I believe. I believe. Oh, he put a spin on it. You can do it.
This is awesome.
The real question is, did Will Gorman's WeGoBot operate flawlessly every time, or did he simply upload the one clip of it working perfectly? The world will never know.
Yeah, honestly, it's not even about the 300, the professional says. The fact that Jonathan's at 103 and came in last
Yeah,
place.
you're sleeping on the couch. I'm sorry.
Nevertheless, no one was able to beat the Bowlbot in a group setting, even with the occasional fluke, and it blew everyone out of the water every time it played them one-on-one. So, was it worth it? I mean, listen, okay, I'm gonna be having this stupid theme song in my head for the next month, and I officially will probably never play Wii Bowling ever again, so I'll get back to you on that.
Would you like to do the honors, sir? By the way, if this misses, I'm blaming you.
Boom, 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 boom. Oh no!
July 1st, 2018.
Okay.
9:20.
So instead of Dark 5, we have Fern. Fern released a new video here yesterday. The craziest prison escape of all time. I was intrigued as soon as I heard it. As soon as I read that, I was like, all right, cool. So But, oh, I wanted to do another quick. I'm going to do some music. Some more Midnight Riff Party classic. Only You.
Sitting by my window, watching the moonlight in my home. Suddenly my mind was bringing out desire in my home, baby. So I got a woman to put out this fire burning in my soul. Only you, baby, can put out this fire. Only you, baby, can put out this fire burning in my soul. So I had a phone call from my woman in my home. She was burning up desire, just like I do. That's right, baby. She wanted me to put out this fire burning in my soul. She said to me, only you feel can put out this fire. Only you feel can put out this fire burning in my soul. Only you, baby, can put out this fire. Only you, baby, can put out this fire burning in my soul.
Thank you, everybody, retweeting out the link to the show. I appreciate all the little boosting and helping and liking that you do. That's really nice that you do that. It's really cool. Shout out to Familiar, Renee, of course, and Big B. And of course, Jameson can't easy. My kneesy. Up in this easy.
Really? Only you, baby, can put out this fire. Only you, baby, can put out this fire running in my soul. Only you feel can put out this fire.
So, you can use me for, your 3D printing needs, but, as we've described here on the show before, I can't do anything with fabrics. I'm not really good with fabrics. But a friend of the show is. So if you could...
My Baby Records.
If you guys need some motivational patches or demotivational patches, or you need a shirt design or something cool, something custom, even go ahead. You can Susie Steak and Legs on Twitter. Old Susie Q, as we call her around these parts. Let me pull it up. Get a patch from her. Where is it? Where's old Susie Q? Old Susie Q. All right. Craziest prison escape. Let's watch it.
July 1st, 2018, 9:20 a.m. A high-security prison south of Paris, one of the largest, most modern, and most secure detention centers in France. Hundreds of guards, massive 17-foot walls lined with barbed wire and armored doors. The courtyards are covered with anti-helicopter netting. On all 4 watchtowers, snipers with assault rifles stand at the ready. In solitary confinement cell 207, inmate number 00-10189 waits to be escorted to a visiting room. He is the most heavily guarded prisoner in the country. He was involved in at least 30 robberies, some including hostages, one involving a cash-in-transit heist that led to the death of a police officer. Twice, he slipped away from the police right at the scene of the crime. And 5 years ago, in 2013, he pulled off a spectacular escape from another high-security prison, using a smuggled gun and explosives to blast his way out. 2 guards unlock his cell to pat him down. They do find something suspicious, but it's just a pack of gum. The guards like him, despite his staggering record of high-stakes crimes. He's easygoing, funny, and likable. It's almost like he's perfectly comfortable here, behind bars. 20 miles away, 65-year-old flight instructor Stéphane Bay welcomes 2 new students, Frédéric and Julien, father and son. They're both hyped for their flight. They say they just want to tag along and watch him fly, not pilot themselves, but they do request it to be on board the Alouette 2, a vintage collector's model from the 1950s. The pair have been marveling at it because it just looks so pretty. Something feels sketchy. Stéphane will later recall that he thought they were wearing wigs. But hey, money is money, right? They pay 500 euros in cash up front. Back in jail, the prisoner is escorted to the visitors block for high-risk inmates. It's situated as far away from the prison entrance as possible. Prison management has been on edge for a while, noticing a change in the inmate's behavior. He's received more visits and seemed to be sending coded messages during phone calls. His casual vibe with the guards could be a tactic to extract useful intel. A couple of days ago, a drone was spotted scouting the facility from above. Stéphane is...
Wait, when was this again? Okay, so I have no idea when this was, but... Holy shit.
Is waiting for his students on an open field. He has landed on the clearing because they said they needed to stop to pee. They stepped out and disappeared behind some trees. When they return, they're armed. They claim to know his family and his home address. They say they have been watching him for months, and that their accomplices are waiting at his house as they speak. If he doesn't do exactly as they say, his family dies.
Whoa.
They'll tell him where to fly next. On the visitor side of booth number 50, the inmate's older brother is waiting to see his sibling. He has no idea that his little brother is about to pull off the most spectacular prison break in French history.
French. So the criminals are gonna win. That's what I'm gathering from this. The criminals are gonna win. The government's gonna lose. Because it's France. Alright. Nice little... Is this like a... Is this a heist movie? Like...
The prisoner calmly waiting for his helicopter ride is Redouane Faïd. He's the country's most infamous criminal. He's also a best-selling author, a movie buff and adrenaline junkie, and to many in France's immigrant suburbs, he's also a legend. But to understand all this, we need to go back to the beginning. 1978, a suburb near Paris. This is 6-year-old Redouane. He's still in kindergarten, browsing through a newly opened store with his brother, who's 2 years older than him. There's not a single thing in this shop the two could afford. Their parents are Algerian immigrants. The father works in a factory, the mother cleans houses. At home, the boys shared a cramped 3-room apartment with 9 other siblings. The social housing block is surrounded by wealthy suburbs full of wealthy French kids. Redouane
I had a cramped 2-room as my first apartment. Fuck you.
and his brother do not fit the mold, and the store detective makes sure they know it. He calls them Petite Merguez, a racial slur for Algerian immigrants. But other than that, he doesn't really pay attention to them. Out in the parking lot, the brothers divide up their haul. It's Redouan's first theft ever. A couple of weeks later, he gets caught. His parents are furious, and his father whips him 20 times with a belt. His mother makes him promise he will never steal again. Around this time, Redouan discovers the world of film.
He steals again.
Especially French crime thrillers and American gangster movies. He watches them on repeat, memorizes entire scenes, and acts them out at home for his family. By his teens, stealing isn't just survival anymore. It's a way of life. He and his friends swipe TVs, stereos, VCRs, car radios, and computers. They use the money to buy Adidas sneakers and flashy tracksuits.
Adidas!
But more than anything, they go to the movies. Again and again. Then, at 18 years old, Redouan commits his first bank robbery. He walks in armed, holds the bank employee at gunpoint, and threatens her with a line straight from the French crime film,
18?
Marine. Shut up. Do what I tell you. I've got nothing against you. I only want the money. Think of your children. After the robbery, he simply goes back to school and studies for his high school exams. There's no one to scold him anymore at home. His father has moved back to Algeria, and his mother is dying of leukemia. He'll later write in his autobiography that, from that moment on, he stopped caring. Redouan Faïd's crimes are getting bigger, and they seem to be directly inspired by American action films. During a heist, he and his crew end up taking a bank director
blame
and his
us.
family hostage. They are wearing rubber masks with the faces of famous politicians, just like Patrick Swayze in Point Break.
Yeah.
Redouan even delivers a line from the movie when they leave the scene.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and please don't forget to vote.
In another hostage situation 2 years later, Faïd and his men show up in sharp black suits in homage to Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs. They even adopt the thing with the color-coded aliases.
Mr. White, Mr. Blonde, Mr. Blue, Mr. Orange, Mr. Pink.
But this time the job goes sideways and they have to flee from the cops, just like in the movie.
They
However,
really wanted
all
to
these spectacular
reenact
crimes
fucking
still don't seem enough
Reservoir
for
Dogs,
Faïd.
didn't they?
One of his all-time favorite gangster films is Michael Mann's Heat, and after watching it over and over again, he sets himself a new goal.
That
The holy grail of
movie,
robbery. Armored trucks.
Heat has spawned about probably 3 armed robberies that I know of now. This one, the one that he's doing here, of course, North Hollywood. Jesus Christ. And there was another one. It was smaller, but it was local again. Jesus, 3 fucking Heat. And it was the same thing. It was like, we're gonna do a fucking shootout. And fucking people died and shit. And it's fucking crazy.
An industrial area on the outskirts of Paris. Faïd is behind the wheel of a Renault.
Oh, did you know?
He spots his
Interesting
target.
fun fact about Michael Mann, director of Heat, writer and director of Heat. He actually, Heat is the second time he's made that movie. Believe it or not. There is another film that Michael Mann did. It's the same script. You can even do a side-by-side comparison where you watch, the same scene take place in both films. Of course, Heat, there were liberties taken, but I prefer the original. I think it was called L.A. Heist, and it was in 1989.
A 6-ton armored truck with 3 armed guards inside, and slams his car straight into it. Within seconds, 2 more cars appear, blocking the truck from the front and back. 5 men in hockey masks jump out, AK-47s in hand, just like in the movie Heat. They surround the truck, moving fast. One of them slaps an explosive-looking package onto the windshield. The guards step out and surrender. Faïd and his crew start emptying the truck, but there's a problem. It's simply too much cash. Moving the money out takes way too long. After just 3 minutes, police are on the scene. Gunfire erupts. Faïd takes a bullet to the shoulder. He does manage to escape with his crew, but he has lost blood on the crime scene. Now the police have his DNA and start to investigate his identity. And if they catch him, he's looking at 15 years behind bars. Stefan Bai and his 2 captors land for a second time. The hijackers have 2 more men waiting on the ground. They haul large black duffel bags into the helicopter. One of them climbs in, all dressed in black, hood pulled over his head. Stefan is held at gunpoint the entire time. Now he is ordered to take off again. He flips the ignition switches and presses the starter, but nothing happens. The kidnappers think he's trying to outsmart them and start freaking out. They beat and threaten him. If he doesn't do as they say, his family dies. Stefan manages to convince them that he really needs to step out to check the wiring. Finally, the engine roars back to life. They take off again. The hijackers are well prepared. The duffel bags are packed with tear gas, smoke grenades, masks, AK-47s, and an angle grinder. And so the heli thunders towards the high-security prison, where Redouan Faïd is sitting calmly in visiting room 50, chatting away with his older brother. Hands down, this really is the kind of stuff you'd expect in a Hollywood blockbuster. But say you're in the US and can't stream this French crime thriller due to geo-restrictions. Enter CyberGhost VPN. With servers in more than...
Nope. Nope. No ad for you.
20 years earlier, the Movenpick Hotel in Basel. An employee enters a room to prepare it for the next guest.
I'm sorry.
She has no idea she's
I haven't
not
been
alone.
reading chat.
Redouan Faïd has been hiding there for over 3 hours.
Oh, you
Outside,
guys
the police are searching
you guys
for
are
him
watching.
across
Cool.
the entire city. A few hours earlier, Faïd was arrested on a train heading from Germany to France. German federal police took him into custody. He had been hiding abroad for months. But when the officers escort him off the train, he manages to break free. He runs straight across the tracks to shake the cops. A train roars in and blocks the officers from following. He jumps several meters down and twists his ankle, so now he's limping. Somehow he makes it to the back entrance of the Movenpick Hotel and sneaks inside. He finds several open doors, since the cleaning staff are still working. He needs to get out of here somehow. He thinks about calling a contact in Strasbourg, but he doesn't have a phone. So what now? There's a payphone right outside the hotel, but he also doesn't have any coins. He calmly approaches the receptionist to ask if she can give him some change for a bill. She places the coins in front of him, which leads to another problem. His hands are still cuffed. What if she notices and calls the police? Faïd keeps it cool, acts like he's casually reading a promo poster behind the desk. The moment the receptionist turns away, he quickly scoops up the coins. The first call fails, and he disappears onto the
This
hotel
is fucking
rooftop to
nuts.
hide for a couple of hours. He tries again, turns around, and finds himself surrounded by 20 police officers.
Holy shit. This is fucking wild, man.
The next day, Faïd is at the hospital with 2 officers to have his ankle checked. He seems to be in serious pain, but that's just an act. In a fraction of a second, he drops his crutches and snatches a gun from one of the officers. He trained in Krav Maga during his time in Israel, a super efficient military combat technique designed for fast defense and brutal disarmament. Before the
What?
second officer can react,
I'm sorry. Huh? I thought he was, Hold on, wasn't his dad... I don't know.
Faïd drives his elbow into his face. The officer
Suddenly
drops,
he's
and Faïd
suddenly he's well taught in Krav Maga and he spent time in Israel. Hey, what's up, Mahia? FP's here. What's going on, man?
takes his gun too. Then he runs, as fast as he can, for the second time in 24 hours. You would think a guy like that would be watched extra closely in jail.
No.
At 11:18 a.m., this prison guard hears a strange noise. A low hum or buzzing sound coming from outside. To her, it sounds like a leaf blower. Weird, she thinks. The gardeners are not supposed to work on Sundays. Well, it's not a leaf blower. But the facility is prepared for this. This sentinel receives an urgent order over the radio: unseal. The same thing happens on other watchtowers. Each one is equipped with a special case. The guard has to break the seal to open it. Inside is an HK G36 assault rifle. He grabs it and takes aim. The helicopter just keeps descending. The prison yards are covered with anti-helicopter netting. flying in here would be a suicide mission. But this is not a random helicopter. It's a 60-year-old vintage model, just small enough to slip through this unsecured gap in the last one of the prison yards. Also, this is not a regular landing. In fact, they're not touching down at all. Redouane Faïd must have known somehow that prison guards are not allowed to shoot at a flying helicopter. There's a proper protocol for this. And maybe he also knew that Stéphane Baye is one of the few pilots in all of France who are skilled enough to pull this off, to keep this specific type of vintage heli steady enough while hovering above the ground. Investigators will later discover that Faïd had been writing letters to Stéphane's stepdaughter for 2 entire years. And this friendship was not Faïd's only connection to the outside world, because at this point, Redouane Faïd was already a star. October 2010, 12 years after his escape in Basel, 8 years before his helicopter prison break, Redouane Faïd sits in a French talk show.
Gangster, braqueur, voyou, voleur, appelez ça comme vous voulez, il revendique à peu près tous ces mots-là.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. Wow, this guy's brazen. This guy's brazen as shit. He goes on to a fucking... So, alright, the French guy says... Gangster, robber, thug, thief, call him what you want. He pretty much owns all of them. Hello, Furry. How many banks have you robbed in total? Well, officially just one, since I was only convicted for one bank rob. Dude, what are you saying? You're going on TV and saying, well, I mean, I only robbed just one bank. Whoa, dude! How is your like? How is your lawyer is probably shitting bricks right now, dude. Why are you doing this?
On m'a soupçonné d'en avoir braqué une trentaine.
They suspected me robbing 30, but you know that's just gossip. Oh. Fooey and Pshaw. 30. I mean, it's just that regular case of, you know, the cops just... You rob one bank and the cops just accuse you of 30. You know what I mean? I don't know about you, man. Fareed, or whatever your name is, never been accused once of stealing from a bank, so there you go.
He's a welcome guest at the time, a bit of a sensation even. Redouane Faïd has written a book about his cinematic crimes, so now he's making the rounds on French TV to promote it.
C'est terrible de dire ça, mais le cinéma a été pour moi un mode d'emploi pour braquer.
Et on voyait ça un petit peu, l'attaque de fourgon blindé en ligne de mire. Pourquoi?
They are not a how-to guide. You know how they're not a how-to guide? Because the 3 instances that I've referenced were, you know, obviously your case here, bud, Faïd, where you were watching Heat and you thought you could do the same thing. Well, no. And then the 2 other cases that I know of ended really badly for them as well. So fucking A. Maybe you shouldn't be using the movies as a how-to guide because they're fucking inaccurate.
Parce que quand t'attaques un fourgon blindé, c'est le top des tops.
The caption on screen reads, former gangster. Well, not so long ago, he was anything but. In late 1998, 3 months after his escape in Basel, Faïd was caught and sentenced to 18 years in jail for armed robbery. He was granted parole for good behavior after just under 9 years. Now he presents himself as a changed man, as someone who has learned his lesson.
La vie de bandit, c'est que de la vie de merde. Vous savez, vous faites souffrir tout le monde. Quand vous allez en prison, c'est une sanction carrément qui est collective parce que votre famille, votre femme, vos enfants, vos frères, vos sœurs, vos parents, tout le monde.
Don't understand your ching chong language. Can't understand you.
Someone who has learned his lesson.
La vie de bandit, c'est que de la vie de merde.
Life as a gangster sucks. You make everyone suffer when you go to prison. It's like a collective punishment because your family, your wife, your kids, your brothers, your sisters, your parents, they all pay the price too.
His brother has landed him an office job. He appears to be taking it easy now. At one point, he attends a film event where Michael Mann is physically present, the director of Heat, the very film that inspired his biggest heist.
Moi, personnellement, je suis un ancien gangster. Malheureusement, je ne m'en vante pas. Je viens de faire une dizaine d'années de prison. J'ai attaqué des fourgons blindés, des bijouteries, des banques, monsieur Toubiana, je pense. Et je leur ai répondu que non. J'avais un conseiller technique, un prof de fac, une sorte de mentor, et il s'appelle Michael Mann. Alors ma question, en fait, elle est simple. C'est est-ce qu'il a conscience qu'il y ait des gangsters qui puissent
Look at
s'inspirer
him,
de son
he's
cinéma?
scared.
Parce que-
Look at Michael Mann. He's like, Jesus fucking Christ. He's like, I don't even want to fucking talk to this fucking guy.
Moi, ça m'est arrivé.
Fayed addresses Mann directly. Michael Mann looks amused, but also a bit uncomfortable.
See, look at that.
He doesn't know what to say.
It's like,
Thank you for that. I don't know how to respond.
what do you say to something like that? What do you say? You don't say shit to something like that. Fucking, yeah, you're my inspiration for being a gangster and knocking over armored cars. He probably wanted a stiff drink after this, you fucking prick. Fuck you, Fayed.
In another talk show stint, Fayed is asked if he thinks he could ever relapse.
Ah non, bah, moi mes démons, vous savez, hein, ils sont morts, ils sont pas endormis.
That's a bold-faced lie. Because at this point, he's already back to committing crimes. And not just petty theft, but a crime so shocking it will shake the entire country. May 20th, 2010, Créteil, a suburb southeast of downtown Paris. Two officers are on routine patrol, Thierry M. and his partner Aurélie Fouquet. Fouquet is 26 years old. She became a mother just a year ago.
What's her name?
For them, it's...
I'm sorry. Skirt. I'm sorry. You can't just drop a name like that and expect for me to to not go. What?
But a crime so shocking it will shake the entire country.
What's her name?
May 20th, 2010, Créteil, a suburb southeast of downtown Paris. Two officers are on routine patrol, Thierry M. and his partner Aurélie Fouquet.
Fouquet. Hey, Fouquet.
Fouquet is 26 years old. She became a mother just a year ago. For them, it's just another day on the job.
Oh no!
But then they get a call from the
I
National
don't like
Police.
this because you're
to-
already like. Why do we need to know that she just became a mother?
Head to the A4 highway exit. Some criminals are on the run in a white van. They pull up at an intersection with flashing lights and blaring sirens. They have no idea what they're about to get into. These men had a plan to rob an armored cash truck carrying 16 million euros. But 30 minutes ago, a routine traffic stop turned their heist into a high-speed, all-out chase with the police. Now they've crashed and need a new getaway car. But at that exact moment, the two patrol officers arrive. The gang doesn't hesitate to open fire. The windshield of the patrol car alone is pierced by 16 bullets. Fouquet is hit multiple times. The gunmen flee. Fouquet is rushed to the hospital. And by the end of the day, she is dead.
You hate to see it. You really do. Hate to see it. God damn it! I didn't save it in the right spot. Yesterday I worked on the beep bop boop, you're dead! And I... Damn it! That would have been fucking perfect right now. Shit! You know what? I gotta revert back to, thank you JJ, you were the one who told me I need to organize as I go, and I didn't listen. Here, we'll do this one.
of Aurélie Fouquet sends shockwaves throughout the entire country. At her funeral, thousands of police officers stand in mourning. Among them is French President Nicolas Sarkozy. He posthumously awards her a Medal of Honor and delivers a promise. He will do everything it takes to find out who did it.
Les meurtriers d'Aurélie Fouquet, je le dis devant son cercueil,
Aurélie Fouquet.
seront punis.
The real.
Aurélie Fouquet,
That's how you spell that? The Fouquet. Oh, her name's Aurélie. Damn it. That sucks.
je le dis devant son cercueil, seront punis
That really, yeah. That sucks.
avec la sévérité qu'exige l'ignominie de leurs crimes.
Redouane Faïd feels safe. So safe he keeps telling his gangster stories on camera. Here he is in a documentary. The film recounts how Fouquet was gunned down, and then Redouane Faïd appears, not as a suspect, not as a fugitive, but as an expert on this kind of heist. At the time, the filmmakers had no idea that the man sitting in front of them had a part in the killing of Aurélie Fouquet. The failed attack on the armored cash truck has Faïd's signature all over it, but he has an airtight alibi, and he swears he was not involved. But investigators
Fouquet,
keep digging
yeah.
and eventually find compelling surveillance footage. A security
Yeah,
camera has caught
okay.
Faïd inside the white van used by the criminals. Faïd was not on the scene when the shots were fired, but police gather enough evidence to pin him down as the mastermind behind the operation. After 1 year on the run, Faïd is captured. Again, and he goes straight back to prison. Whether you're invited to a talk show or heading out on a date, there are moments when you want to look your best. But shaving is often a struggle. Many men experience razor burns and get nervous about shaving right ahead of an important event.
There's 2 ad reads in here? Fuck you, Fern. Fuck you. That's really shitty, man. Well, I mean, times are tough all over. ko-fi.com/goofyboots. Links are in the description. Go ahead and give me money. I had to. Come on, that was funny. Fuck you, that was funny.
Fern at checkout to get a free pack of 100 blades with the purchase of a razor.
Oh.
2 inmates are taking out the trash, accompanied by a prison guard. Suddenly, they see a helicopter in the
This
courtyard
back and
next to them.
forth between
They wonder if it could be
timelines that Fern does. I understand, like, that's great, you know, and it's art and shit. Yeah, Clorox, is that good? Okay. But like, it's kind of jarring to have to go back and forth between this guy's fucking timeline of how he was escape. I just want to know about the escape, and I get that they're doing the exposition. Wow, he was a real world-class piece of shit. Got it. You don't need to convince me anymore. I'm sold. He got a fucking lady killed. She was a mother. That really fucking sucks. You know what I mean? Just tell me about the fucking escape here. Don't go back and forth and, you know.
Firefighters. The unarmed warden bolts into a nearby office, hiding behind bulletproof glass. Meanwhile, the 2 prisoners are about to witness Redouane Faïd's spectacular prison escape up close. One of the 3 men stays with Stéphane, the pilot, and continues to press a gun to his head. The other 2 jump out. They are masked and wearing bulletproof vests beneath their clothes. Each of them carries an AK-47. They've just landed in the honored courtyard. Prisoners do not have access here. It's only used when inmates enter or leave the facility. That's why nobody thought anti-helicopter cables were needed here. The man in green runs towards a reinforced white door. He carries an angle grinder with a 14-inch 35cm blade. His partner sets off 3 smoke grenades, releasing thick white smoke. The helicopter's spinning blades churn it into a roaring chaos, until the entire courtyard is engulfed, a complete whiteout. The sound of the cutting angle screeches through the entire prison. Faïd knows what that means. It's time. By now, it's clear to everyone that nobody here is blowing leaves. The blade of the grinder slices through the locking doors. Clean, precise. 40 seconds is all it takes. The man in green can just push the door open and step inside. The guard...
I'm sorry, really quick. What was the... Hold on. We gotta look back here again.
Their clothes. Each of them carries an AK-47. They've just landed in the honored courtyard. Prisoners do not have access here. It's only used when inmates enter or leave the facility. That's why nobody thought anti-helicopter cables were needed here.
Yeah.
The man in green runs towards a reinforced white door. He carries an angle grinder with a 14-inch 35-centimeter blade.
Oh.
His partner sets off 3 smoke
I
grenades,
thought I heard
releasing thick
millimeter.
white
I'm
smoke.
like, okay,
the
so
helicopter's
you
spinning
don't know
blades
how
turn
to...
into a roaring
So I
chaos
was pulling out my...
until the entire courtyard is engulfed. A complete whiteout. The sound of the cutting angle screeches through the entire prison. Faid knows what that means. It's time. By now, it's clear to everyone that nobody here is blowing leaves. The blade of the grinder slices through the locking doors. Clean, precise. 40 seconds is all it takes. The man in green can just push the door open and step inside. The guards slowly realize what's happening, but they're not carrying firearms and are unable to interfere. One of them sticks to protocol and calls the Civil Aviation Authority. They don't understand what's happening. Another calls the standard line for police emergencies and gets put on hold. A third contacts the local police, but the officer on the other end thinks it's a prank. The sentinels on the 4 watchtowers are the only ones...
I'm sorry, I was at the first call. Okay, let's look at this this absolute snafu. Situation normal, all fucked up. This is France for you. This is the French government. You wonder why there's like a revolution in France like every 30 years? It's because of this shit right here. Let's go through the 3 phone calls again. Yeah, Clorox knows. Like this is fucking hilarious.
inside. The guards slowly realize what's happening, but they're not carrying firearms.
Oh, okay. We can't do anything.
And are unable to interfere. One of them sticks to protocol
The bitch is on the phone, of course.
And calls the Civil Aviation Authority. They don't understand what's happening. Another calls this... They start off with... I'm sorry, wait, hold on. Wait, like what? Hold on. You're telling me... Wait. Fucking what? Bro. Wait, what? Second phone call. Standard line for police emergencies and gets put on hold.
Where's the... Where is the... Hold on. Let me pull it up. Where's JJ's hold music? Yeah, Oh, okay. They're not picking up. I mean, yeah, sure, go. You have the guns. You have the guns, guys. I'm sorry. All right, yeah. I'm just on the phone. Nothing, no reason. Okay, that's call number 2. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it gets more and funnier. Yeah, automatic. Ba, 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 ba.
A third contacts the local police, but the officer on the other end thinks it's a prank.
Yeah. All right. Who set you up, motherfucker? Was this? Hey. Was this Tony? Was this Tony? Did Tony put you up to this shit? Yo, get the fuck. No mames, way. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, God. That is too funny. It's just a plank. Is this a plank? Look at the guy in the middle. Hey, what the fuck? Hey, you're planking here. You fucking plank. I got paint drying. Let's watch the rest of this.
The sentinels on the 4 watchtowers are the only ones carrying firearms, but they can't see the helicopter.
Fucking Europe. just the four guys, and they're on the outside. They're on the perimeter. They can't go in. They're supposed to stay at the watchtowers
because their view is blocked by other buildings. And they're not allowed to fire at a flying aircraft anyway. Total, utter chaos. By now, Faid's brother knows exactly what's going on. He's furious. He thought his brother was ready to change. And now this, another escape. He just can't help himself. Faid's accomplice has already cut his way through several locks. And now he has reached the door to visiting room 50, where Redouane Faid is waiting. The angle grinder slices through the metal. The door is open. Faid has been waiting for this. He storms out and rushes down a long corridor, followed by the man in green. His brother is left behind, frozen and stunned. At 11:28 a.m., Redouane Faid steps into the prison courtyard, 10 minutes after the helicopter got there. He sees the two inmates that have taken out the trash, brings his right hand to his temple, and gives them an Air Force salute. Then he climbs into the helicopter. Dozens of inmates stand pressed against the bars of their cells to watch. As the helicopter lifts off, the entire prison erupts into applause.
He's a motherfucking god among men in that prison right now. Dude, if you can make such a brazen escape, yeah, you're a god among men. Holy shit. Yeah, France is not even the top 25 for sure. Wow. That got really funny there at the end. Yo, you planking. Get the fuck out of here. And the other one's they're taking off. They're taking
then
off.
He climbs into the helicopter. Dozens of inmates stand pressed against the bars of their cells to watch. As the helicopter lifts off, the entire prison erupts into applause. It's almost like a movie scene.
A French gangster who broke out of jail by hijacking a helicopter.
Notorious
earlier.
gangster is on the run
Criminal
again.
who is a big movie fan. He has broken out of prison twice
And
now.
you can just about make out the helicopter flying off into the
With the help of
distance.
multiple armed men who hijacked a helicopter,
which picked up Redouane Faid from within the prison grounds.
The news of Redouane Faid's prison break spreads across the world. He was already famous, a TV figure, the center of a cult-like hype. But this is a whole new level. A well-known French actress writes on social media, "Bravo, Redouane Faid. All of France is with you." The French police declare him the country's most wanted man. 3 months later, the authorities track him down. Hiding in an apartment in his hometown, Cailles, he's been disguising himself under a burqa during public outings. When he finally stands trial in 2020,
dressed
authorities
like a
take extreme
bitch.
security measures, including a no-fly zone above the courthouse.
That's specifically in reference to what the fuck you just did.
The court cites a psychiatric assessment describing him as a social predator and gifted at manipulation. He uses his charm and intelligence to control others and get what he wants. Faid himself says that for him, it was always about the adrenaline. He says he is addicted to it and calls himself a sick man. His Hollywood-style heists made headlines worldwide, but he also made his family suffer, traumatized hostages, and caused the death of a 26-year-old police officer. Faid stood 2 separate trials. For his heists, his role in Aurélie Fouquet's death, and his 2 escapes from prison. He was sentenced to a total of 39 years in jail. His lawyer says he's been held in solitary confinement since 2019. He is strip-searched up to 5 times a day at random intervals. At least 4 guards escort him to each and every one of his phone calls. And even then, his hands have to remain in shackles. Faid himself says he feels like he's been buried alive. His earliest possible release date is 2060.
All right.
He would be 88 years old by then.
Damn, man. Sounds like you fucked up. Oh, woe is me. You made them...
In 1973, the legendary...
Asianometry, you wait till you are introduced. You son of a bitch. Sorry, I have autoplay on. I know. I gotta turn that off. I never got around to it. But, what was I saying? Yeah. Faid. I mean, You did it. Yeah, fucking yeah. Hey man, I bet you were on cloud 9 when you were flying away. I mean, if you put the same amount of energy into you doing that and all those heists, I'm putting the energy, I really would like to make the government feel my wrath. And, I've mentioned multiple times that Maximilian Robespierre is like a personal hero of mine. I gotta focus my energy somewhere else, though. Because I know that going against and making a government look stupid, like what you just did, Faid, is not you're gonna have a bad time, okay? There's one thing I know. It's that the government does not like to be made a fool of. And they have unlimited resources to get their revenge. All right. Doesn't mean you have to stop fighting, though. Asianometry is a great... Oh, hold on. I thought I was going to do music. Oh, that's right. I had to do On the Line because I went and got the shirt. Okay. Let me grab some other music other than this. I'm just playing it just because it's here. Since we're doing Asianometry, this is going to be fitting. All right, I got a perfect one. Okay. Yay. Hold on one second. Let me turn this one off. Thank you again, JJ, for... All right. Thank you. Thank you. Come on, baby. America. All right, Asianometry. Why was Japan so good at semiconductors? Asianometry, take it away.
In 1973, the legendary head of National Semiconductor, Charlie Spork, RIP, told analysts in Los Angeles that the Japanese were, quote, coming down the pike, end quote. He was not wrong. In the 9 years from 1975 to 1984, Japan doubled their share of the integrated circuit industry from 19% to 38%. Famously, by 1986, just 3 of the 11 American DRAM memory makers were left still in business. But more than just numbers, Japan's rise struck fear in the very heart of American capitalism. It led the country to deeply reflect on how they conducted their own way of business. Looking back at it now, the hysteria is hard to believe. Were the Japanese really that good at semiconductors? No, but I can see why people thought so. In this video, we explore the question, why was Japan so quote, good at semiconductors?
Yeah, I was led to believe that they were.
I think the best place to start would be with business structures. Japan's memory-making dominance and the focus of American semiconductor concern was centered on 6 companies: NEC, Fujitsu, Hitachi, Toshiba, Mitsubishi Electric, and Oki Electric. Each of these 6 companies was part of a larger business family. A lot of the output was bought by an affiliated electronics company, and at least in the early days of the 1970s, they even bought their semiconductor manufacturing equipment from affiliates. This vertical integration benefited both sides of the deal. The electronics company knew what chip components were coming and can design accordingly, and for the semiconductor makers, the family represented a critical demand source to fund volume and enforce quality. Volume was significant. In the early 1970s, half the world's integrated circuits went into calculators. But let me talk about quality. In the American semiconductor industry's early days, the U.S. military bought and set key standards, including in product quality. For the Japanese, product quality was provided not by the military, but collaborations in the 1960s and 1970s between Japan's telecom monopoly NTT and 3 of its family firms, Fujitsu, Hitachi, and NEC.
Hey,
Since they were
Hitachi,
developing
we all know
NEC's
that one, huh?
telecommunications equipment, it was a prized job. NTT's Electrical Communication Laboratory,
All the working
a
girls
well-respected
online know it.
semiconductor R&D lab, applied a thorough quality check process to assure the chip's reliability. This forced Fujitsu, Hitachi, and NEC to produce better semiconductors. And whatever they learned to do, NTT circulated amongst the industry, lifting up the other 3 chip companies. The American semiconductor industry in the late 1970s and early 1980s, on the other hand, was a mix of one very big but closed manufacturer as well as a bunch of smaller specialty manufacturers. That massive manufacturer was IBM, and they were a formidable player. At their peak, they produced up to 20 million chips a day. But starting with the System 360 mainframe computer lineup in 1964, IBM only produced chips for their own consumption. None were sold to external customers.
I don't know why
So the rest of the
IBM was
American semiconductor
so like, man, they thought that they could monopolize forever, even though they never had a monopoly on, you know, the processes, or, you know, they thought that they could just do the same thing without having any of the patents, or just trying to buy up the competition. You know, they changed their methods so much that it's just like it became this fucking beast, this fucking hive mind later on, where originally IBM was like, no, we'll pay you, come do that for us, since you're the one who's doing it right, come, we'll pay you, then we'll own the process. And they were doing it right by just buying out their competitors, but like, hey, you could still do it, just you're doing it for us now. But for some reason they had this problem where it was like they wanted everyone to think that they were for innovation, but they were not. They were always status quo. Even today, it's blatantly obvious now that you look at IBM today and you're like, oh, yeah, they're so fucking antiquated. They're always status quo. They've always been status quo maintainers. They never stepped over a line. They never fucking tried to do anything new. It was always the old shit. Fuck IBM.
The industry was mostly made up of smaller firms producing special chips for smaller
I
customers.
don't think so.
This
Familiar.
characterization was a sensitive one. In 1981, American and Japanese semiconductor makers held their first face-to-face meeting in Palo Alto to discuss trade issues. During the meeting, an executive made the mistake of calling American firms boutique. This triggered a shouting match between the legendary Bob Noyce and an NEC executive over unfair Japanese government subsidies. Nevertheless, the characterization seems accurate to me. The smaller American merchant firms competed in 2 ways, either producing a lot of low-cost, high-volume product like semiconductor memories, think DRAM, or designing a more complex, differentiated semiconductor product, think something like an analog thingy, or an EEPROM, or a microprocessor. The merchant semiconductor companies that produced a high-volume,
so they were
low-margin product
boutique.
naturally suffered
So
more than
he got
average
all
profit margins. With fewer
So he got all sandy cootered because the Asian guy was like, hey, you guys are like boutique shit, you know? It's not, you know, it's not mass production, high quality
profits
shit.
to reinvest, and lacking financial support from any quote-unquote
If it was
siblings,
mass production,
these
it was low
producers could not
quality
build
shit.
up a cash cushion to protect themselves from serious downturns or invest in their next factory. And American buyers of commodity memory, guys like Sun and Compaq, who themselves faced fierce competition, had little interest in paying higher prices for what they felt was an inferior product just for the sake of patriotism. This left the high-volume, low-profit American merchants vulnerable to Japanese competition in exactly what the Japanese were good at for a long time: scale and manufacturing efficiencies. This time period came as semiconductor factories got increasingly more expensive. In 1974, American semiconductor makers spent about 6% of their revenue on building a leading-edge fab. In 1984, just 10 years later, Americans were spending 20% of their revenues on new fab construction, a situation that immensely strained their financial positions. The Japanese suffered the same expansion, but more so. From 1974 to 1984, the same time period, they went from spending 6% to a staggering 28% of revenues on new fab construction. In 1984, Japan spent 900 billion yen on semiconductor fabrication alone. That year, the country was investing more money into semiconductors than they did even steel. Steel! The
Whoa.
Japanese companies being somehow able to fund and scale their stupefyingly expensive factories was key to Japan's famed semiconductor quality and cost advantages.
They put more money.
This money
Wow.
also let the
I did not know that. They put more money into their semiconductors than they did their steel. Mind you, the only way to make a nuclear reactor is to use one. There's one company in the world that does this. It's Japanese. They make it. They set up a furnace at the site of where you are going to have a nuclear reactor, and then they make the fucking the casing for it. That's how you make a nuclear reactor. Is you have to make the casing for it in place. It's a huge giant steel fucking case for it, okay? The reactor, and it has to be like high grade Japanese steel. They were spending more money on semiconductors than steel. Wow.
Companies to invest in the latest automation, process, and device technologies to further cut costs and improve quality. Higher volumes led to better learning curves and then to lower product costs. In the 1970s, for every doubling of production, you get almost a 30% improvement in per unit costs. For example, after chips are diced out of the wafer, they have to be packaged. Part of that involves bonding the tiny connections from the chip to the package. This was previously done by cheap human hands, often located overseas in Hong Kong, Singapore, or Taiwan. But in 1973, NEC produced an automated computer-controlled lead bonding process for their 16K DRAM, eliminating the need for human involvement. Americans somewhat knew about this and even knew that it contributed to their cost disadvantages against the Japanese, but they did not implement it, either because of their existing overseas operations or cost. The American government could have helped here. The Japanese government, via MIDI, encouraged this type of automation with a 13% tax credit for the purchase of computer-controlled robots and other automated assembly line equipment that lasted until 1983. Another area in which the Japanese made major progress against the Americans was in cleanliness. One NEC fab worker recalls teams of female engineers scouring the factory for dust sources as part of a zero-defect mindset. This focus on cleanliness, again, can be traced to the influence of NTT's ECL, and as it turned out, this cleanliness was a huge contributor to lower yields.
Semiconductor factories, they use clean rooms. Dust, any kind of particulate matter needs to be on the zero side or close to it's a non-zero number, but they need to get as close to zero as they can, because any kind of dust particle gets into when they project when they're making the wafers. If there's a dust particle in the air at the time when they do a light projection for the acid, it'll fuck up everything. It'll fuck up the whole lead. Like, they have to take that one, the one spot where it's fucked up, and they have to cut it out of the wafer and then toss it, and it's fucked up.
The Japanese semiconductor makers pioneered core cleanroom concepts like mini environments that involve splitting the cleanroom into subsections of varying cleanliness. This saves us from the expensive task of making the whole room super clean. Just do it for one small mini environment. So where did the money come from? There was no single capital source, so let me point out some of the major culprits. First and foremost, these guys took out a lot of debt. Between 1966 and 1980, Japanese top 5 semiconductor companies carried debt amounts of up to 3.25 times their equity. I should note that after 1980, those debt ratios came down. This was apparently due to rising overseas export revenues and the prolific issuance of convertible bonds, but even so, debt-equity ratios as late as 1983 remained quite high, between 60
Holy
to
shit.
130%. American semiconductor merchant firms, meaning those not owned by bigger companies like IBM or Western Electric, carry
They were
debt
up
on
to their
average
debt
of just
fucking
half their equity
eyeballs.
amounts, so a debt-equity ratio of 50%, and that makes sense. Even post-1980, the U.S. ratios are more realistic. After all, what kind of a crazy person at a bank will lend so much debt to a super capital-intensive manufacturer selling a high-volume commodity that you have to upgrade every 2 years? Japanese banks were willing to lend for these expensive, risky fabs, in part because the lending environment was quite plentiful back then and because of the family connection. Prior to 1979, Japanese companies profited from higher DRAM prices sold to the Japanese domestic markets, which had little competition since it was closed off to foreigners. But even before 1979, that was never capable of funding the newest nodes, so the six depended on exports, mostly to the US, and you can see why that's a problem. Japan's semiconductor rise sparked a great deal of cultural quote-unquote analysis, with various observers traveling there to review how they translated into better performance. When producing DRAM, other semiconductor products too, but DRAM especially, all the companies are using the same basic recipe. However, each company makes their own tweak to the recipe to create a variant that they believe will grant them the most success. Think of an apple pie. Many different bakeries bake apple pies. The core concept is the same. The key differentiator between shops are the spices, cook time, ingredients, and the extra preparation we just generally call love that go into making said pie. Japanese semiconductor employees worked long hours and stayed years at their jobs, called culture or whatever you want, but it let new workers gain tacit knowledge vital to excel at their task, and in general, Japanese managers in the 1970s and 1980s had more confidence in their operators than American managers did. Critically, these proficiency gains came essentially free. Japanese electrical machinery workers got more productive from 1975 to 1985 as measured by an index, from 18.2 to 67.7, scoring some 3.7 times improvement. Yet, their wages did not keep up with that, growing just 19.5% over the same time period. In other words, Japanese workers got better at what they were doing over time, yet
Sorry, this they is were a little
not paid their
academically
worth,
constipated.
perhaps in part due to culture or
Sorry.
the lifetime employment system, and Japanese companies were able to invest the surplus into
Oh,
more
that's good.
capacity. The American media and government made a big study of Japan's MIDI and their quote-unquote collaborative industrial policy. In particular, much attention was paid to Japan's 1976 VLSI project as a masterful coordination of public-private resources to leapfrog American chips. It directly inspired the formation of Semitech later in the decade. Now with the
I got really bored with that one really quick, so we're gonna pop on over here. I was just wondering why Japan was good at semiconductors, and in the first minute he was like, "That's not the case." It's really just the culture, the banking system, and just their genuine, Japanese drive to become the most efficient. They weren't that good. They weren't better than anybody else. They were just better at making them, and it's just the culture of doing it. Anyway, World War II, English is easy. World War II, searchlights. Johnny Johnson.
Searchlights. Searchlights became popular for military use at the turn of the 20th century. Shown here are Russian troops using a searchlight on Japanese forces, attacking at night during the Russo-Japanese War of 1904. During World War I, searchlights were used against aircraft, particularly German Zeppelins, conducting nighttime
I
bombing.
forgot that the Russians and the Japanese fought like before World War I, and then like during World War, and then during World War II, wow, I fucking forgot about all that shit.
Bombing raids over England. Searchlights were also used to create
Russians and
artificial
Japanese were
moonlight
definitely
by
at each other's
reflecting their
throats for a
powerful
while.
beams off clouds, improving nighttime visibility on a battlefield. During World War II, all major militaries had thousands of searchlights equipped as ships and aircraft, and of course used with dedicated searchlight units, working with anti-aircraft guns, listening equipment, and radar. Searchlights were part of nationwide defensive perimeters and aided in the shooting down of thousands of aircraft. More aircraft were lost to anti-aircraft ground and sea defenses during the war than any other source. The primary purpose of these searchlights was to aid anti-aircraft crews and friendly aircraft in shooting down enemy bombers. However, searchlights were also considered weapons, used to dazzle, confuse, and blind enemy pilots and crews. Searchlights were even used on the ground in such a manner, mounted to tanks like the Matilda or M3 Grant, shown here. Such tanks, called Canal Defense Light Units,
Don't
were used
get
in
an
crossing
O-light.
the Rhine and
Familiar,
protecting
don't get an
Ludendorff
O-light.
Bridge, after it was captured intact during the Battle of
issues.
Remagen.
These fucking
Searchlights during the
O-lights.
war typically ranged from 60 centimeters to
So Familiar says, that reminds me I really need to get a new EDC flashlight. This fucking thing it uses this fucking magnet recharger. This fucking thing. And people have been saying that this lint in my pocket. There was an O-light that blew up in somebody's pocket, apparently. So I'm probably everyday carry is EDC. I'm probably gonna get rid of this O-light because of that. But yeah, I heard O-light. One of them exploded in my friend's pocket, so I was like, oh, probably gonna get rid of this one here soon. I don't know why I had it in my pocket to begin with. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of that one. It's horrible. Don't get an O-light.
300 centimeters in
My friend's ass was burnt. Blew up in his fucking pocket. And O-light told him to go fuck himself. These induction ones. Apparently it's like your phone, you know, when you lay it on the magnet charger, it's the same thing. But now this thing is magnetized all the time, so I can set it up like on the, you know, anything. I can snap it onto anything steel, you know, or ferrous really. And it was really great. That was very handy, but again, I just don't want this thing blowing up in my fucking pocket. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, he was. He was sweating his ass off. Maybe. Yeah. He was in country. You know what I mean? And this thing just blew up in his fucking pocket. I don't know if it's. No. He told me it was a regular one like that, not a fucking pistol light. They probably use different batteries for that. You know what I mean? It was the battery that exploded, so it might not even be O-light's fucking fault. I don't know.
size. The common size for anti-aircraft use were 150 centimeter spotlights. A German flak searchlight Model 37, of which over 7,300 were used during the war, has an output of 990 million candelas. Such systems were typically towed, with a separate power generator on its own trailer, which was gas-powered. A World War II 150 centimeter searchlight could detect an aircraft flying at 16,000 feet from 8 kilometers or 5 miles away in good weather. Searchlights were typically located ahead of anti-aircraft guns, in a zone of preparation. This would allow searchlights time to locate and lock onto their target. Ideally just before they came into range of anti-aircraft
It
guns.
was a Jewish pager battery.
Searchlights were laid out in grids and spaced out by 5 kilometers between lights or
Well, maybe you
sets of
should-
lights.
Hey,
a light
hey,
set.
hey, you Palestinians! Maybe you shouldn't take goods from your enemy. Like everything passes through the Israeli, like the Mossad. Like, of course they're gonna fuck. Of course they're gonna fuck with you and your supplies. Of course they are. Why would you think otherwise? I don't understand. Anyway,
Might be one larger searchlight, like
Probably
a
get me
200
kicked off of
centimeter
YouTube
light,
for just saying
with
that.
3 150 centimeter lights in support. Once one light found a target, the
Our
group
greatest
of lights would narrow
ally.
their beams and triangulate on an aircraft. A fearsome experience for aircraft crews. Lights found their targets before radar simply by sweeping the sky and by the use of sound locators. Acoustic or sound locators had been used to detect
these guys
planes
are
starting in
funny
World
as
War
hell.
I,
I love-
and various instruments.
I love these old pictures and the you know one of these dudes stuck his ass in one of those, like, he squatted down and just fucking ripped one. And the guy was just, oh, what the fuck? Yeah, it's good. Fujigawa case, Sony guts. I know the line. Fujigawa case, Sony guts. Going out of business. No, we're not going out of business. It's good for business.
Been used to detect planes starting in World War
Liquidation,
I,
going out
and
of
various
business.
instruments have been created to both detect both the direction and elevation of an
Fujigawa.
aircraft using sound. This is a German sound locator, and here is a Swedish one, both used during World War II. Sound locators were largely rendered obsolete by radar towards the end of the war, as sound detection only gave short notice of an incoming aircraft. They were also disrupted by anti-aircraft fire. They had one advantage over radar, as they could still locate through obstacles like hills that would obstruct radar, so many armies kept them as backup devices. Sound locators were taken seriously by air forces during the war, so much so many bomber engines were kept desynchronized, making their acoustic signal more difficult to track. Radar greatly improved the use of searchlights during the war, and these systems were paired together. This is a British searchlight control radar Mark IV 150 centimeter searchlight. These radar systems were small, inexpensive, and less accurate, but paired with a searchlight became an effective way to locate the enemy. Radar systems only had to be effective enough to give a searchlight crew an idea of where the enemy was, so they could sweep that section of sky and lock in on an aircraft. These systems became more advanced during the war, with radar units automatically setting a searchlight's beam width according to the radar's accuracy. A searchlight operator would then simply have to narrow the beam's focus on the aircraft. Once the aircraft was lit up, anti-aircraft guns could fix on target. By the end of the war, Allied anti-aircraft guns using radar and proximity
Off to a good
fuses
start.
became accurate enough to target planes at night without the use of searchlights. But searchlights still aided the majority of guns. No German or Japanese ground radar was accurate enough for flak fire directing without the use of searchlights at night, so the Japanese and Germans were highly reliant on searchlights for night defense. Aircraft crews took the searchlights as seriously as the flak guns themselves, Counter-searchlight tactics included flying some bombers low enough to attack the searchlights with their 50 caliber machine guns ahead of the main formation. Some bombers were also painted with a gloss black paint for nighttime bombing.
I just realized what time it
making
was.
them harder for searchlights to locate. All right, I'm Johnny. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope the video was illuminating and we cast some light on the subject, etc., etc. Anyway, do take
Good
care
one.
and have a nice rest of your day.
Good one, Johnny. All right. We're going to call it. That's going to be.
What happens to a man when thousands of...
Oh, no. We're gonna save this one for later. Hey, guys, did you know that Jared Leto, 30 Seconds to Mars front man, is the leader of a cult? We'll watch that one tomorrow on New Boot Goofin. Come back tomorrow for that. But right now, we need to go to ROTC. Thank you for coming by. I just realized it's that time. All right, there we go. Thank you all for coming by.